It's Thursday weekly Wildcat wrap-up time. I'm a little sweaty. I just came in from outside, so I'm a few minutes late, but happy World Lion Day to everyone. I hope you enjoyed seeing the cubs doing their thing. Can't believe it's already been a year since they were born. Their year anniversary coming to TWS will be in November, so I look back at the time when I wrote an article in Uproar magazine that said, will lions ever roam TWS again? Because the only lion we were down to was our beloved Shanti Diva, who came to us from the Catskill Game Farm after it closed, and sadly we're auctioning off animals. And we only had Miss Shanti here. And then we were working back, this is, ages and ages ago, 2016 maybe, with the Puerto Rico Zoo on taking their lions, and us and the Wild Animal Sanctuary and other sanctuaries were really working hard and getting them to shut down due to conditions. And that's the reason for why we built Pride Prairie, is because we were going to be taking in their pride of 6 females, 1 male, and then a lone male that would rotate in and out. So we designed actually Pride Prairie for the Puerto Rico Zoo lions, how they would merge, how we would do the shared walls, all that. And sadly the hurricane hit, and so the Puerto Rico Zoo decided they were not going to place animals. The conditions got worse, and we're really thankful this year that luckily through the Department of Justice, USDA, and the Wild Animal Sanctuary, the Puerto Rico Zoo was finally closed down. We didn't get the lions from the zoo, which is, wonderful for us because they didn't need a home. The Wild Animal Sanctuary could accommodate them. But it's interesting, this whole week for me has been about cases from years ago that have been coming full circle in different ways. We've been working on a couple big witness protection cases with 10 plus animals in these cases, and we had our staff and everybody prepared this week to be able to accommodate some large amount of cats. We had immobilization teams done, we had drugs purchased, the staff had really customized the trailer. They spent so much time getting cats moved, merged, and building out areas, even new areas for holding areas for some of these large cases that we've been working on. And then sadly, one has gone to a court battle, so the owner relinquishing his animals, and so that's going to court case. And another one, the owner was allowed to place, sell, remove his animals and give them to whoever he wanted to. So it was frustrating for us, but it was definitely not something we've never seen before. Over and over again, we say at the beginning of cases that we will accommodate the animals all at our own cost, and so we hold areas for them knowing that they're going to be coming into witness protection, and we spend a lot of expenses and time, and the judge or authorities or whoever rule that the individual or the entity or the facility can breed, sell, as long as they rehome their animals, that they won't do the seizure. And there's a couple of reasons why these seizures often don't happen. The biggest is the expense to the departments and the taxpayers and the logistic time. Is they don't want to do it. So often they go in trying to get a custodial surrender is what they do, and that means we won't prosecute if you will surrender your animals. And so the best case scenario is when authorities say those animals need to be surrendered to a sanctuary that does rescue and isn't going to contribute to the larger captive wildlife crisis problem. But since animals are deemed property in so many states, I should say in all states, that because it's property, the owner has the first right to sell that property, remove that property, to come into compliance in different ways. It's not what we like to see, especially if there's cruelty cases involved, because we always say if you go on a property and there's cruelty or there's neglect, and they've had years to fix that, because this is usually not like you come in and you take the animals. There's been sightings, you know, USDA violations, USDA's license canceling, things like that. They've had months to years to come into compliant with animal care issues and things like that. So now they've been given 60 to 90 days before a seizure, and they decide to sell, move them, and things like that. You can guarantee in most cases those animals are even moving to worse conditions, because if they couldn't have a facility come into compliance to keep those animals, and now they're forced to move them, whether to hide them, bring them to friends, but they're choosing not to relinquish them to accredited sanctuaries. They're moving to other facilities just like that, or even worse. They're finding property that's outside the zoning area and putting up temporary panels and things like that. So it's challenging, but no, we don't get reimbursed for those expenses when cases go away. We have to be prepared to take them. We have to be prepared that if a seizure or a custodial release happens, that we are prepared that those animals get a wonderful place here that they move into. And so that's kind of been a lot of our weeks. We have a few other cases pending that we will still committed to fruition. We don't know how it'll end. But also on top of that, there's been a person in Minnesota named Keith Streff, who works for the Animal Humane Society, who I've been working on exotic cases on for over my 24 years in the career. He's been in 36 and he's retiring soon. So we were able to kind of bring him up to the sanctuary. Definitely wanted to talk. We've talked about so many cases that came full circle over the years that we worked on. It's just amazing that some of those players that were problems before have moved on, or we talked about it's not even them, it's their grandchild has picked up the breeding and exploitation of animals. So it's challenging, but it was really nice to have the investigator and humane agent Keith here reminisce and then show him this facility, because he's been to our other facility before in Minnesota, and we've worked with him, but he was just in awe of what you guys helped create here. He could not believe how professional it was, how well staffed it was, how he said it. As I go to zoos, roadside zoos, shelters, everything, and he said, and I can't believe there's no smell on this property. That was the one thing he was just couldn't believe, that there was no ammonia smell with 100 and 30 some cats. And so it was nice to share that. It was nice to reminisce, and it was nice to celebrate the amazing work that he's done and committed himself for 36 years. And he's had a rough time. I mean, in a humane investigator, you're going into hoarding cases, you're not liked by many people. Rescue groups can attack you because you're not handling it the way you want. People talk out live posts like we do when cases fall apart. But I'm very, very thankful for those humane agents, the authorities, the USDA agents, and all of those, that even if our system is a little broken, we've got good people trying to do good for animals. And so that was kind of an interesting full circle this week as well. And so as I'm doing this, I'm actually in the viewing room. I can see that Elise and Dr. Campbell are actually in the hospital neutering and doing a full intake exam on the Bengal, who's just with us for a few short days before he goes to his adoptive home. And so I'm just glad that we've been able to find one more animal, a permanent home environment. And that's our goal. Our goal with the small cat crisis and our Bengal and hybrid program is not to bring animals here. Our goal is to curb the breeding, further education, one day get legislation passed so that we aren't seeing the influx of animals at our sanctuaries and at Wildcat Ridge and other sanctuaries that do hybrids, because there's just not enough space for them. But we're glad when one life can be saved. So some animal updates this week. When there's not a lot of animal updates, it's a good thing. I still look at Ramsey the Canada lynx and Noonda the servals observations. They are just being very, very picky about taking their PM medications. They're usually taking their AM medications and their full meal, but when the staff go out at night, they're lounging on their platforms or in their grass and not wanting to get up. So, but everybody else seems to be doing pretty good. Terrace's limp is pretty much 100% doing well. Now, I haven't seen the live post today because I'll tell you what I was out doing. So I don't know if he overexerts himself, if that he'll get a little bit of limp again. But also, we've been working behind the scenes because Gina was at the Humane Society conference we had a sponsor table there, kind of educating people about the small cat crisis and things like that. So she just got back and we're working on some behind the scenes upgrades to our donor software program and things like that we'll keep you posted about and announce. Obviously the online auction is going strong. I see boxes of items here and just really cool items again. And not only do you get a keepsake when you do the auction, but wow, that money goes directly to the cats. So when you buy a t-shirt on our online gift store, we might get $2. When you buy our calendar, we get $4 per calendar. But when you buy from the online auction and win those bids, we get 100% besides the mailing fees, and you are paying the mailing fees on top of your winning bids. So that is where the most money comes to the sanctuary when you're getting special items. So that's pretty cool. So other cat updates. I was just out, and of course we will always alert sponsors once we have a full merge, but we did our first play date, at least I did, with Lloyd, Fiona, and Bruno. And it kind of went like we thought it would. We opened and Lloyd came in, and Lloyd was really curious. He was making really wonderful mew sounds like he does, his little serval sounds, even though he's an F1 Savannah. And he and Bruno went right up to each other, sniffed each other, a couple of hisses, walked away. Fiona always gets nervous when anything changes. And if you remember, Fiona is a serval that was found abandoned. Don't know if she escaped or was let out as a pet near death in Arizona. And so her and Bruno got merged when they were here. And so she's always nervous when something new happens. So she started doing a little bit of pacing, and then when she started running, Lloyd chased her. Now, he didn't do anything really aggressive, but the more she ran, the more he ran after her and got her worked up. So Elise and I kind of distracted them. And then everything has been good ever since. So it's been about 3 hours. We're going to leave them together a little longer. We were throwing in freeze-dried chicken treats, and they all came out and did things. So they're all in their own space right now, but we want to keep them together as long as we can today. And feeding has been pushed till 3 p.m. in case we need to separate them or want Lloyd separated for the night. So we'll keep you posted. It's too early to tell because when cats aren't comfortable, you're not seeing the true interactions. And so the longer they can be together, the more we'll see, if there's a bond or if there can be cohabitation. So we're excited about that. We also have had contractors are out this week because planning our new hybrid area next year is so critical, but it's becoming very, very expensive. Never in my life when I have built have I seen prices like they are now post-COVID. I mean, we saw it during COVID when we built the animal care center, but it is crazy what things are still costing. But it is our new normal and our new world, so we're working through how to be the best stewards of donors' dollars and still get what we need for the cats. And once we go through all that process and go through our township permitting process, we will then share our plans with you and of course ask for your support. So it's still in really early stages, but it's something we're excited about. Something fun that doesn't really happen, as many of you know, Sally, they've called to say she does your thank you calls. She's here for Give to the Max Day, things like that. And then Julie, who you obviously, if you're a sponsor parent, coordinate with her a lot. People don't know that, I'm here on site. Sally's a volunteer and is in the cities. And Julie's a volunteer. I consider them both staff because of how integrated they are into the sanctuary, but she's in Colorado. So we rarely get together to just decompress or even kind of brainstorm about the future of just fun ideas and items for the sanctuary. And so really, we are all getting together in Colorado over the next few days. And so most of it is going to be decompress time, because after years and years of working together in this field, obviously we've become friends, and sometimes they work on forcing me to have some downtime. And so when I said we were going there, the first thing I was told, no, we're not going to this sanctuary. No, I know you want to go to that sanctuary, we're not, because that's what I do when I visit Julie in Colorado. So I think we're going to actually see some mountains and sunsets, and so it'll be nice. So my husband is caring for all my pets. He's a wonder whenever I leave. The staff and everybody are totally seamless here. They don't need me here to do all the amazing work they do. But it'll be nice. Maybe we'll do a shout out or a live post with us three together, so you can put faces with some of the phone calls and emails you receive as sponsor parents and donors and supporters. So also in the auction, the VIP experience, I know it looks expensive, but so many of you ask how you can get on site for a tour, and this is more than a visit. This we did for the first time last year, and we got rave reviews. Everybody that attended last year said absolutely do this again. And this is taking place of Jungle Boogie, which is our old gala that was different. This VIP experience to get on site is, you know, wherever you are in the country, you fly into a hotel. The hotel is at your cost, but we have so much going on. The first night on Friday night is an impromptu social hour with Sally and Julie. So just so that everybody that's going to be here for the VIP event and tour can get to know each other and socialize and kind of, you know, hang out. And then Saturday morning, there is a coach bus that comes to the sanctuary. And so all of you guys get transportation on there. There's games, there's a way to get to know each other, and you drive up to the sanctuary together, you get off, and you get to spend amazing several hours with the caretakers you love, the cats you want to see in person, and with the camaraderie of all of you that support. And this is only for 50 people, so this is very intimate, and you really get to see everything. You can see the on-site hospital if you haven't, or the food center, and then we do a catered lunch on site. And then the bus goes back to the hotel. Get a couple downtime hours, because, you know, people my age need a little relaxation. And then it's a complimentary social hour, which is free drinks, free food, and then an awesome silent auction with some one-of-a-kind items. And then we go to do a sit-down dinner. And that's where you'll get time with Judson and caretakers and me. And we do a sit-down dinner, and you get kind of some freebies. And so it's just a really kind of 48, almost 24-hour experience that is just like being here with us, getting to know us getting to know you, and kind of getting some inside scoops and seeing the cats you love. So it's really worth the money, you know, so if you can bid on it, that's a great way to do that. We've had some new animal care interns start, which has been great. We are still working on our business plan for next year and our strategic plan. With the Cats in Crisis campaign, we still are looking at trying to purchase that van and some more customized crates. Vans, every van that's new that we look at that has what we have, when we follow up on it, it was a custom order from over 1.5 years ago from somebody, and it just gets put in these aggregators online, and they're not for sale. And so we're still looking for that van with all the needs we have, but we have a special thing to bring you next week, and we've had to rent a van for that. So definitely stay tuned next week, especially early next week, for some big news and some other things we've been preparing for at the sanctuary. So, and I know many of you, if you are a monthly donor and for any reason you get a decline email for that credit card, please respond to that decline credit card. It's our new system we're doing that can cause glitches. There's no reason to contact us or anything right now unless you get that declined email, and you can respond to that directly or call. We just don't want to miss your support, and it is really about this upgrade in the security system that requires a little bit more information. Or if you have moved since you set up your reoccurring billing, there can be some glitches, but don't worry, we'll get it handled with you, and so only watch if you get those. And then also just wanting to do a shout out to the staff and caretakers and interns and volunteers here. Every day is so busy here, and I sometimes forget, now I'm telling you, but I'll have to remember to tell them at huddle. I walk around the sanctuary and I can't remember the last time things have been in this immaculate shape. Not only from the grass being mowed to the habitats giving so much dynamic space to the cats, to every pool and toy and everything. It just, in the past, it always been we could do this chunk, just this chunk. And of course, the cats always came first, but the to-do list was too long, and the to-do list has not gotten shorter, but it's amazing the amount of work our volunteers, interns, and staff do on site. And then we have our office staff like Lynette and Joan who do the volunteer and intern coordination, donation coordination, our vet team, Kelly and Anna who kind of oversee it all. And Gina, I mean, I can't even name, there's so many to name, that there's so many moving parts in the sanctuary, and that's not even just caring for the animals, but it's about the next rescue, it's about planning for sustainability, it's about doing tax returns and financial audits, it's about scheduling, it's just, there's so much. And then we've had board meetings too for the strategic planning and everything. There is so much that goes into a sanctuary, and it's not just the daily work, but it's about the pre-planning. You know, we're talking about if there's influx due to the Big Cat Public Safety Act, how do we want to play a role in that? Are we going to stay focused more on the small cat crisis? We're even doing small cat crisis templates and cards and ID resources that can go out to sanctuaries, animal control officers, everything. So what you see is what we're doing in the moment, but there's so much we're doing for prevention, fire prevention, if there is weather, if there's a natural disaster, if there's a big rescue, if we have a sick animal, if we had anybody injured or any kind of security breach, then we have the succession plan of how do we make this sustainable in the future and continue the pipeline of wonderful staff and people filling the gap. It's just can be overwhelming, as Lynette and I were talking about, and so we just take it piece by piece. And your support when you give not only allows that daily care for the animals, but it allows us to make sure that that care and that sustainability is there every day into the future. And so I'm just so thankful. I've never thought I would be in this boat to have the staff and support that we do at the sanctuary, and it is just it just warms my heart. It just makes things just makes all this worth it. So thank you guys so much. I know the staff will be doing wonderful things. I'll be back on Tuesday next week, but as always, everybody knows I'm on email, I'm on my phone. I'll answer any call that comes in if the sanctuary needs me. And so it's just wonderful to have such a support system for the animals, the sanctuary, and myself to be able to do a little bit of respite. So have a great few days, and I will see you all next week.